Dear friends and faithful believers, with hearts brimming with hope and gratitude, we extend our warmest welcome to each of you who have gathered here today on this channel. May the boundless peace and grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you always, guiding your hearts and strengthening your faith in times of both joy and tribulation. This morning, as the world awakens to a new day, we turn our attention to the devastating impact of the powerful storms that swept through North Texas early Tuesday. These ferocious tempests, including at least one confirmed tornado, left a trail of destruction in their wake, toppling trees, tearing roofs from buildings, and plunging thousands into darkness as power lines fell under the force of nature's fury. The storm struck with relentless intensity, bringing wind gusts of 60 to 75 miles per hour and drenching the region with up to an inch of rain. In Dallas, the deafening wail of emergency weather alarms jolted residents from their sleep around 5:30 a.m. A chilling reminder of the unpredictable force of the elements. Irving bore the brunt of the storm's wrath, with the National Weather Service confirming a brief but forceful tornado touchdown on Pioneer Drive between North MacArthur and North O'Connor Boulevards. Residents in the area reported their homes trembling as gusts reached up to 110 miles per hour, shaking walls, rattling windows, and instilling fear in the hearts of those caught in the storm's path. By dawn, the devastation was apparent. Over 300,000 homes and businesses were without power, including 105,000 in Dallas County alone. As utility crews scrambled to assess the damage, Encore's outage map revealed that by 1 p.m., more than 140,000 customers remained in the dark across Dallas, Collin, Denton, and Tarrant counties. The restoration efforts were further hindered by heavy winds that continued to whip through the area, stirring up thick clouds of dust that reduced visibility and posed additional hazards to those working to restore normalcy. Sarah Barnes, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Irving, painted a grim picture of the aftermath, stating, "There's damage pretty much across the entire metroplex." The evidence of destruction was undeniable. Along North O'Connor Road, snapped utility poles lay scattered across the pavement in front of a Savers Cost Plus grocery store, while a nearby apartment complex, La Hacienda Apartments, bore shattered windows and walls stripped to their frames. Less than a mile away, the damage extended to the very heart of the community. Lorenzo de Zavala Middle School was forced to close its doors due to downed power lines and a nearby gas leak, leaving students and faculty uncertain about when they might return. Across the street, the residents of the Tree Country Apartments faced an even graver reality, forced evacuations as storm damage rendered their homes uninhabitable. As Texas grapples with the aftermath of this powerful storm, our prayers go out to all those affected. May they find strength, resilience, and the helping hands of their communities in these trying times. Let us stand together in faith, offering our unwavering support to those in need and trusting in the grace of God to guide them through this storm and beyond. Eugenio Ruiz, 50, a longtime resident of the neighborhood near Lorenzo de Zavala Middle School, found his property ravaged by the storm's unrelenting winds. Multiple trees in his yard were violently uprooted, their heavy trunks crashing down onto his garage and the vehicles parked both in his driveway and along the street. His 15-year-old son, Santiago, recalled the terrifying moment when a massive tree split in two, one section landing directly on their home's garage with a thunderous impact that jolted the entire family awake in the early morning darkness. Beyond individual homes, the storm displaced an estimated 350 residents from the La Hacienda and Tree Country Apartments, leaving many scrambling to find temporary shelter. In response to the crisis, emergency officials set up a refuge at the Georgia Faro Recreation Center, providing those affected with a safe place to stay. Despite the extensive property damage, Irving police spokesperson Anthony Alexander confirmed that, miraculously, no injuries had been reported within the community. Further north in Plano, the powerful winds tore away sections of the roof at Plano West Senior High School, scattering debris across the campus and covering the parking lot in a chaotic mess of insulation, roofing materials, and broken structures. By morning, caution tape cordoned off damaged areas of the school building, restricting access to ensure student safety. Despite the damage, school officials determined that classes could continue as scheduled, though several other schools in the region were not as fortunate. Widespread power outages forced numerous school closures, creating significant transportation disruptions. Several districts warned that school buses would face major delays, while the Dallas Independent School District ultimately announced a complete cancellation of classes for the day. Officials cited that more than half of their students would be unable to attend school due to a lack of electricity at their campuses, making it impossible to proceed with a normal school day. The storm's impact extended far beyond schools, throwing travel into disarray as well. Hundreds of flights were either delayed or canceled as severe weather conditions battered airports across the region. By 9 a.m., Flight Tracker FlightAware reported that approximately 300 flights had been delayed at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, while nearly 250 flights had been outright canceled. At Dallas Love Field, operations were similarly affected, with at least 68 flights delayed and 63 canceled due to the storm's lingering effects on air traffic. Ground transportation was also thrown into turmoil. The Texas Department of Transportation's live traffic cameras captured images of an overturned 18-wheeler blocking all northbound lanes of Interstate 35E, bringing traffic to a complete standstill. Congestion quickly built up in the surrounding areas as emergency responders worked to clear the wreckage, restoring the flow of vehicles along one of the state's busiest highways. Meanwhile, in far north Dallas, entire apartment complexes bore the brunt of the storm's devastating winds. At a residential complex on Marsh Lane, several buildings suffered structural damage, with some roofs blown off entirely and chimneys collapsing under the immense pressure of the winds. The apartment's parking lot was left littered with broken tree branches, scattered debris, and remnants of shattered roofing materials. The once serene swimming pool, typically a place of leisure, was now filled with displaced patio furniture and other objects hurled into the water by the storm's relentless force. Despite the significant destruction, Dallas Fire Rescue spokesman Jason Evans reassured residents that no injuries had been reported, and authorities had determined that evacuations were not necessary. However, for some residents, the damage to their homes was impossible to ignore. Gilberto Navis, 35, recounted how the storm had torn away part of the roof of his apartment, knocking over his chimney and leaving a gaping hole in the building's exterior. Inside, the damage was just as severe. Crumbled drywall covered the floors, the remnants of a ceiling that could no longer withstand the storm's brutal assault. Beyond Texas, the storm's reach extended into neighboring New Mexico, where an entirely different weather phenomenon compounded the already dire conditions. On Monday, a massive dust storm, known as a haboob, swept across both New Mexico and Texas, temporarily cloaking vast regions in an eerie brown mist. The National Weather Service Prediction Center reported that the high-speed wind gusts fueling the haboob created hazardous travel conditions across the central and southern plains, prompting warnings for drivers and air travelers alike. The dust storm's impact was not limited to visibility issues, it also posed a serious risk to power infrastructure. Downed power lines led to additional outages, exacerbating the crisis already unfolding in Texas. The National Weather Service issued an alert on social media, warning of widespread critical to extreme fire weather conditions across the southern high plains for the next several days. With winds continuing to whip through the region, residents were cautioned to remain vigilant, as additional blowing dust and dry conditions could further increase fire risks. By Monday evening, the hazardous conditions forced authorities in both Texas and New Mexico to implement temporary road closures, issue air quality alerts, and even shut down certain businesses. The National Weather Service in El Paso specifically warned of dangerous dust storms affecting major roadways near El Paso, Texas, and Lordsburg, New Mexico. State police in New Mexico took action by closing off key roadways where visibility had dropped to near zero, making travel impossible. Fortunately, most of these roads were reopened by the following morning. However, officials urged residents to remain cautious, as the forecast for Tuesday suggested another day of fierce winds and the potential for continued dust storms. As residents across Texas and New Mexico begin the arduous process of recovery, the storm's aftermath serves as a sobering reminder of nature's raw power. Communities now face the challenge of rebuilding homes, restoring power, and reclaiming a sense of normalcy after one of the most destructive weather events of the season. A habub, derived from the Arabic term hab, meaning to blow, was originally used to describe intense wind or sandstorms occurring in central and northern Sudan, where such events happen approximately 24 times a year, according to the American Meteorological Society. Over time, the term has expanded in usage and now refers to any powerful wind-driven sandstorm or dust storm capable of lofting massive amounts of sand and dust thousands of feet into the air, creating an awe-inspiring yet ominous wall of dust. The American Meteorological Society notes that these storms are particularly dangerous due to their rapid development and ability to significantly reduce visibility in a matter of seconds. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, habubs occur when descending air from a thunderstorm forcefully pushes forward, sweeping up dust and debris in its path. This powerful movement transforms the sky, turning it into a swirling tempest of sand and darkness. The sheer force of these storms serves as a humbling reminder of nature's might, echoing the biblical moments when God's power was revealed through the elements, much like when Jesus calmed the stormy sea, demonstrating his dominion over nature and his protection over his followers. Across the world, habubs have been witnessed in arid and semi-arid regions, including the Middle East, the Arabian Peninsula, the vast expanse of the Sahara Desert, and the sun-scorched lands of Central Australia. In the United States, these dramatic dust storms primarily occur in the southwest, sweeping through the Sonoran Desert of northwest Mexico and Arizona, as well as the western portions of the Great Plains. In these regions, residents and travelers alike must remain vigilant, as habubs can strike with little warning, engulfing cities and roadways in thick clouds of dust that obscure everything in sight. The National Weather Service in El Paso warns that visibility can plummet to near zero in an instant, making driving extremely dangerous. Officials urge motorists to exercise caution, pull over safely when necessary, and remain prepared for sudden brownout conditions. Yet even in the midst of such storms, those who trust in the Lord find solace in His presence. Just as Jesus reminded His disciples not to fear when the winds raged around them, so too can we find peace amid the chaos, knowing that no storm, whether of dust, wind, or life's hardships, is beyond His control.